All right, so favorite Scooby-Doo episode? Do you have one? Or favorite Scooby-Doo series?
Oh, that's tough.
Or favorite Scooby-Doo movie? You got options here.
I know. I got a lot of options.
But I want answers to all of them.
As far as movie goes, it's probably Zombie Island because it's the one that I think takes itself the most seriously, has the highest stakes. The animation is the prettiest because it was handled by an animation studio in Japan. It's either that or like Scooby-Doo 1 from 2002, like the live action movie, because I like that one a lot. I grew up with that.
Okay.
As bad as it is, because it's not very good. it is a bad movie, but I like that one. How about this? What's your favorite Scooby-Doo like creature, monster, ghost?
Original? I would say original because I'll tell you why in a minute because I don't want to spoil my answer. I'd go with Space Kook.
Yeah,
is one of the biggest ones.
That's the one
okay,
with
like what I was saying. Was like,
I'm thinking of Robot Charlie.
Yeah, that was a cool one too. That one always, as a kid, freaked me out
because he has like no face.
Not only because he has no face, but yeah, that's a huge part of it. But the beginning of that episode, and that's actually the answer to my favorite series is Where Are You? And not just because it's the original.
It's probably mine too.
It's because it was the legit scariest.
Yeah.
Like I remember actually being scared of Scooby-Doo and a Mummy too.
Yeah.
That one freaked me out. The way the mummy like moaned and everything and just like walked around. They nailed it. It was freaky. And the reason I was asking if you meant original or, because like say Bigfoot, the Mummy, Frankenstein, they're not really original. So I'm not going to pick those ones because they're not Scooby-Doo monsters. That's why I'm going with Space Kook.
You know what I mean? See. I thought you meant like original series, and I'm like, you can pick any series.
No, yeah. I just didn't want to pick, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess the caveman is kind of original, but it's
a caveman.
It's a caveman. It's kind of generic. It's not Scooby-Doo's original thing, but it's like, I mean, as a ghost, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it might be original, a lot of not great ghosts in Scooby-Doo, especially after the original series. They sort of got like lazier and lazier, especially when they got like into the Scrappy-Doo years. There's a lot of just like vague historical figure ghosts.
Yeah, Space Kook is one of the best ones. I think I love that episode. What the heck's going on? Always freaked me out too.
The witch one.
The witch one with the zombie.
Yeah,
that one was good. The reason Charlie the robot freaked me out is because it's not only the robot, but it's also the setting. Like I said, the atmosphere, everything at the beginning of the episode is so freaky.
Yeah,
like when the episode opens, they're having like a campfire or like a picnic or something at like outside of a amusement park in like the pitch black.
Yeah,
it's like nighttime and there's just a silhouette of the amusement park in the background. Yeah, and all of a sudden everything just starts turning on, and it's so freaky. How they remember that
is pretty freaky.
That's so freaky. That's like if you're outside or something like at nighttime and no one else is around, then all of a sudden you just see like an ice cream truck go down the road and it has the music playing and everything.
That is creepy.
It'd be so freaky. That's something that terrified me as a kid. Is like, like I'm thinking of amusement parks like Kennywood or something, and like how joyful they are in the daytime, but like when you look at them at night, like from outside the park, it just looks freaky.
Yeah.
And they nailed that. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but it's just something that was really freaky.
Well, that's the thing. In the development of the series, they ran into a lot of roadblocks because they kept running into problems with making it too scary for kids. And then they kept like,
and it was still scary.
Well, they wanted it to be a spooky show, but they wanted it to be like so that like adults wouldn't complain that their kids were scared. Because like television activist groups were like cropping up at the time because like cartoon violence in the cinema was acceptable because it was not in the home, but because it was going in the home in the 60s and everyone was getting televisions, they wanted shows to be more like educational, teach values.
Right.
So there's a lot of the values taught in Scooby-Doo, and what you learn in Scooby-Doo is that like skepticism, like mystery solving, and to not blindly trust authority figures.
I never looked that deep into it.
Well, that's kind of what they were going for in the original series anyway.
Okay.
And then they added like the slapstick humor and the goofiness. But they also like the aesthetics, like color wise, the color palette is really gloomy and muted.
That's what I mean. The color,
it's all
perfect.
Painted, and like there's a lot of fog and a lot of the classic spookiness. They have like a Wolfman creature, it's like a Frankenstein creature, a mummy creature. It's like all the classics are right there. And then they have like the really weird ones, like the witch doctor.
Yeah.
Like, they have 2 different witch doctors in the original series.
Captain Cutler was just like a scuba or diving suit.
Yeah.
But even that was freaky.
Because he had no face.
Yeah.
It was just like no face at all.
But it's just like the moan, like their like sound effect. Like imagine like being in the beach, and again, even in that scene, like in the beginning of that episode, they're like
out of the water.
Yeah, they're like on a beach somewhere, and just imagine like you're already out in the water, and then like he pulls up his paw, and he's like right there. It's like you have no time to react. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it's like it's terrifying. It's like, if you're looking through like a haunted house or something, you open a door, and then like, oh, the minor 49ers right there or something. It's like, if you're in that situation, like, in real life, I would like probably like lose my footing and just like fall out of fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like in the original series, they definitely played up. I think it's the spookiest intentionally. Like, 'cause as they went further and further on, they were like more comedy, more action.
That's what I mean. That's why I love the original.
Less scary stuff. Yeah. And they definitely, like, all the classic creatures like Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, they couldn't do those anymore, I guess for rights reasons or whatever.
Night of Fright is No Delight is another favorite too.
Yeah.
That was a like murder mystery one kind of thing. That was a great. Is that
the
sheet, the green...
The green screaming ghosts?
Yeah. I love that one too.
That one's one of my favorite episodes of the original series.
Yeah. Just the fact that there was 2 of them too was different.
Yeah.
And the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ghosts from the new Scooby-Doo show. I can't remember the name of it. Good Humor. Ghost of the Good Humor Men or something like that. Yeah, that was always really cool. I remember watching that on TV like once, and
we were like, "Oh, it's them!"
Yeah, I always thought that was like I always thought it was like a dream or something because I never saw it again.
Yeah,
because
they never played that show.
Yeah, so and then it wasn't until what is it? The Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour came out on DVD that I was like looking through it, and I started watching. I was like, it did exist. I wasn't crazy. I was thinking like maybe I was just confusing it with the 2 green ghosts from that one episode or something. But I was like, I know I seen it somewhere. And then I watched it. It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. My least favorite ghost, like unoriginal or just
in the original 24 episodes.
Oh, in the original 24 episodes. Okay,
because there is one that I'm gonna say is the worst.
Okay, all right. Let me think. I never really liked the Tiki guy or the... Oh, I know who it is. The dog napper one.
Yeah.
That one sucked.
Wait, what is the creature even in that one?
The decoy for a dog napper one, like a witch doctor kind of character.
He's like the Native American witch doctor guy.
Yeah. So it wasn't really...
It's not even like he's out of character the entire episode. He's only in character as the witch doctor for like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And even then, he's like talking to his henchmen in the costume. So it's like there's no mystery element to that episode. It's almost all gags. I was going to say the worst one would probably be the sheet ghost from like episode 3.
I was just thinking that too. The Hassle in the Castle. Yeah. I didn't really like that one either too much. I mean, it was just so unoriginal.
Yeah, because it's just a sheet ghost.
Yeah.
So I like the episode in general. It's a very classic Scooby-Doo episode. It's like good setting, foggy, old castle in like an island. The setting is good. The setup is good. But the monster itself is just a sheet ghost.
Yeah.
So...
The Ape Man wasn't another one of my favorites either.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like boring. It's just an ape. It's like, what's scary about it?
That is coming from a place in the 60s. They're looking back on their childhoods in like probably the 40s-ish, when there was a lot of like scary ape movies.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like in the Three Stooges skits and stuff, like where like a real ape gets out of the cage or something, and then someone's in like an ape costume or something. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, because there's like episodes of Three Stooges. There's like... The ape from Brooklyn. There's like Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff were both in ape movies because they were popular in the 40s.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of what they pulled when they were doing, Scooby-Doo originally is stuff from their childhood because Frankenstein was still coming out in theaters at the time and all those monsters were still relevant. So they were like, oh, this was scary to me as a kid. So
that's true. Yeah.
Let's put that into there. So that's probably where that comes from because like anymore, you don't see scary apes at all. That might have been like one of the last gasps of a scary ape.
Yeah. I remember another one of my favorites was, as a kid, was, speaking of like the old classic monsters, was Reluctant Werewolf. direct-to-TV one, because it
yeah.
had like all the classic monsters and stuff in it, you know?
I haven't seen that one since I was a kid, so
Yeah.
jog my memory as to what that one's about.
It was
Doesn't he have
about
a girlfriend in that one.
Yeah, Shaggy has a girlfriend, and
Boogie, or whatever her name is.
yeah, and Dracula hosts this like monster race or something, I guess, annually.
That's another monster in the original series. They literally just have Dracula.
Yeah. And then I don't know if it's annually. It might be like every 10 years or 100 years. I don't know how often it is. But anyway, the Wolfman like takes a vacation somewhere. So like he sends up a postcard. So they pretty much just go after Shaggy and turn him into a werewolf, and then pretty much force him to be in the race. And the only way he can be changed back to normal
is if he wins the race. And apparently he's an accomplished race car driver in that universe story.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he has a girlfriend named Googie,
and his car is all like decked out like the Batmobile or something would be. Like it has all these gadgets and stuff in it.
I don't know. They really like those. What they had, Ghoul School.
I love that one. That's another one. It's all the classic monsters in Ghoul School.
What are the other like TV movies they had in the 80s? Boo Brothers. That's the other one.
Yeah.
They really those ones are probably the weirdest.
Yeah, they're like the 80s.
Yeah.
80s ones, and then Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood was the first one direct to TV. That was like late 70s, I think 79 or something.
Yeah, it's really weird to think now the things that are inspiring the new creators of Scooby-Doo are things that we also grew up on, like 20 years ago, like Scooby-Doo and on Zombie Island got a reboot. 13 Ghosts got a reboot.
Yeah, they're aware of like what did well for it back then. But then they just, I mean, with Return of Zombie Island, I haven't seen it, but it doesn't look good. And like same with 13 Ghosts movie, The Curse of the 13th Ghost. You know, I didn't finish the original series, but I could tell that this isn't a good follow-up to it. You know, they completely threw out Scrappy because why? He's not a fan favorite. It's like, well, that's what the original series included.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a gag throwaway thing, like, oh, he's not popular, so we're not going to use him, and then it's it. They did the same thing. If
it's an anniversary thing, you have to, you know.
They've been doing that same like Scrappy sucks gag since Scooby-Doo 2002. It's been 20 years. Like, people aren't still laughing at that joke anymore.
They made a reference to that in Mystery Incorporated too. There's like a statue or something of Scrappy.
It's like his grave or something.
And Fred's like, we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
or something.
It's like they can only do the same joke so many times.
And why did Flim Flam age in that?
And no one else
but
did.
Nobody else did.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out something that the series did, like when they first brought the original look to the characters back to like what we see today. Like the last time you saw like Scooby-Doo and the gang look like with their original outfits was probably, I don't know, the new Scooby-Doo movies or new Scooby-Doo mystery, something in the 80s. Maybe
would have been Scrappy-Doo.
Something like that. Like when, well, even then, Shaggy had a red shirt on.
Was that Scrappy-Doo or was that
it was 13 Ghosts? 13 Ghosts, but I don't know.
Why did you change his shirt to red? What difference does that make?
I don't know.
Like, legitimately, why?
I don't know. But
does red pop out more?
Yeah, and then when it came to what's new Scooby-Doo, they changed all the looks and everything, gave them like white eyeballs and stuff, like with pupils and everything, you know, instead of just like pencil marks, you know, and then it wasn't until I think when Matthew Lillard came on, I think was his first one. I think it was Abracadabra Doo, and that one's like they had like a whole series overhaul, refresh, nostalgic look to it, where like they looked like clean and fresh and like in the original outfits and original designs. Even their eyes and everything looked like a cleaned up version of the 60s. So that's one of my favorite original movie ones is Abracadabra Doo, followed by Camp Scare too.
Yeah,
not my favorite at all. Like, it's not my definite favorite, but it's one of my favorites.
It's good.
Just because
it's definitely like a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, it's neat. It's The Woodsman. That's like an original one. I don't think they've done that before.
No,
not that I know of. You know, I haven't seen every single episode, but I've seen a lot. I mean, I didn't see a lot of the 80s ones, but I'm assuming they didn't do a Woodsman thing.
No,
you know.
Didn't.
So, you know, that was original. Abracadabra Doo was really neat. Like, it was just the first one. They started doing like the musical sequences at the beginning of the title screen things, like they did with the musical interludes, like in the middle of the Scooby-Doo Where Are You episodes in season 2. It was just like a lot of little callbacks and stuff.
Yeah,
you know, I liked how they cleaned up the animation. That's one of my favorite direct-to-movie
at this
Scooby-Doo
point,
titles.
Scooby-Doo is pretty much done pretty much everything. They've gone everywhere. They've kind of fought every kind of creature.
They need to fight like Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger instead. They need to
was-
bring them the slasher villains.
Well, I was legitimately going to ask, like, how would you feel if they like rebooted it to like an adult series? Kind of like how they did with Riverdale or like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where they do a more serious take where there is like legitimate demise and gore and stuff like that. Like if they were legitimately like adults, like aged up, and they were all like the same characters, obviously, still goofy, shaggy, and all that stuff, but they're like in their 30s or something, and they legitimately have their own company doing this sort of thing, and they track down legitimate killers. How would you feel about that? Would that be something you'd be interested in, or is that kind of tainting the childlike
As long
innocence of it?
as long as that's not something they're gonna stick with, like that's gonna be the new thing, then I'd be interested to see it. I mean, they took a new turn with Mystery Incorporated, where it's like a much darker look to it, and I love that series. Obviously, they weren't killing people, but didn't they kind of do that with Scooby-Natural? Did you see that?
Well, sort of, kind of.
Like, I didn't even watch the whole
It's
thing.
just
I don't
a
watch
crossover
Supernatural,
episode with them. So it's like the two characters in that show get sucked into a television with Scooby-Doo or something like that.
Yeah, but they brought the language with it into the Scooby.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen it, so
yeah, I think like they brought like the swearing and like language and stuff of the of Supernatural into Scooby-Doo. It's like their animated characters are actually like cursing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think the Scooby-Doo characters were.
No.
But just in general, it's in the same animated kind of universe, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I'd be interested in seeing it. That'd be really interesting, but I wouldn't want that
like
to
if
be
it was like
the
a
new
10
thing.
episode thing on
Sure, yeah.
on Netflix.
I'd like
or
to
something.
see it. That'd be pretty cool. Are you talking about animated or live action?
Like, I could go either way.
Yeah, me too.
I could go either way. Like, if they're gonna do like an adult thing, I could see like Matthew Lillard as like a legitimate grizzled man now. Cause have you seen him recently? He's like all gray and like.
Yeah, I've seen some recent pictures.
It's like,
of him,
wow, he's actually aged since he's been playing Shaggy.
Right. Yeah. What do you think of the Addams Family being cut from the new Scooby-Doo movies?
Oh,
That
I don't know.
sucks.
Is it like a rights thing?
I think they couldn't get the rights to
Because they did the reboot movie.
the dude who plays wait, the reboot movie? What?
Like the Addams Family movie that came out last year? Is that why?
Is that why? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it had something to do with the Gomer
Gomez.
Adams or Gomez, yeah.
Not Gomer Pyle.
yeah, Gomez Adams. I guess the person who played him, like his estate won't allow it or something, or maybe it has something to do with like the people who own the rights to the Addams Family in general. Maybe they can't. I don't know. But
I don't know.
that
Maybe.
That sucks because it's almost complete. You know, they added like a whole extra 8 episodes to the collection of the new Scooby-Doo movies. That was another one of my favorite shows too, because that was like the Laurel and Hardy one was another one of my favorite ones. Like just how they brought like those celebrities in. Don Knotts is really cool.